Okay, you guys, I'm going to try this one more time. So I came on earlier and I've been getting knocked off. So I don't know what's going on. My tire power had went out on me. And so before then, it just cut me off. So I want to say I do not own the copyrights to the music that you hear playing in the background. I also would like to say that all three of my books are still available for ordering, and I pray that I get through this time. There must be something that someone needs to hear that the enemy is trying to avoid you from hearing this. But again, all three books are still available for ordering. The journal is for widows, God's Love for the Grieving Widow. It is for widows only. Um, it's a 31-day prayer journal for widows, God's Love for the Grieving Widow. Also, I have a YouTube page, God's Love for the Grieving Widow. Each Sunday that I upload the lives on here, I upload them on that YouTube page. So if you miss it here, you can go to YouTube and look at it. If you know someone that does not get on Facebook, but you may feel like they should hear some of the information, you can tell them to go to the YouTube page and actually watch the same live over there. Okay, and so there is beauty in my brokenness is the story of me and my late husband, our love story until death did us part. And again, there is beauty in my brokenness. And then the third book is No One Plans to Fail, but Many Fail to Plan, Divine Direction and Connection. And so this one is talking about me going through probate, and so a lot of what I talk to you guys about every Sunday about getting your affairs in order and in place. And so again, all three books are available for ordering. So place your order, and or either go to Amazon and you can place your orders there. One of them costs a little more. This one, There's Beauty in My Brokenness, is a little bit more expensive on Amazon. So if you want to order it through me, you can. And so again, I do not own the copyrights to the music playing in the background. And I just wanted to take the time to come on to please like, tag, and share this video. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's see. I was trying to tag in myself. Hold on. Let's see. All righty. Let's get this show on the road. Welcome to A Legacy of Love Ministry. My name is Crystal, and I am coming on today to talk to you guys about getting your affairs in order and in place before and after loss. I had experience going through probate. It took me a year and a half, almost 2 years to go through probate. It was very costly and meaning in time, but it could have been costly in finances as well. But God is so gracious and He's so good to me. He really watches out for us widows. And so He had people that He placed in my life that I'm just so forever grateful for, those that helped me along the way of this journey that I am on. And so I was speaking to a gentleman today, before I came on, and we were just talking about a couple of different things that have happened with people that he has dealt with or maybe worked with or used to work with. And so as I've spoken to people over this past week, I have been at mouth dropping like amazed at the loss and the things, the conversations that I've heard concerning loss. And so he said something to me, which was, he said, well, you're a couple, and one of you won't be showing up to the other's funeral. And so, how would you leave that loved one prepared? You know, because life, we're gonna experience death. And so you just don't know which one will go first. But you want to take the time to get your things, your affairs in order so that it won't be so hard on you when you have had that loss. And then can you imagine if you have to be replaced? Not replaced, but, misplaced. You have to move maybe because you can't afford to stay where you're living at, or you can't pay the mortgage, or you can't pay the rent because there is a loss. And so a good friend, sister friend of mine lost her husband last week, and she has been with me, and we have talked to each other, or we have had some kind of communication every single day since I lost my husband 4.5 years ago. And so it bothers me, but I have no control over loss. But she said to me, you've taught me, and I can't believe that that I'm a widow. And it hurt me to my core to hear her say that, knowing that she has supported me, knowing that her husband and her family have supported me from day one, and to know now that she's on this journey with me is hurtful. But we have to realize that that's life. And when we say our vows to one another, we don't really think about the part until death do us part. That part we kind of muse over, and we think about all the other things, but we don't really think about what we're saying when we say until death do us part. So when death does do you part, it's very difficult because the two have became one. And it's just like you losing anything else from, like, say, off your body or something that has been had to be taken away. It's that loss is just as hurtful. It's just as painful. It stays there. And so I said, wow, I'm going to say that, one of you will not be at the other's funeral unless the two of you pass away together. But more than likely, if you just look at it, it's like one of you will not be there. So how would you leave that loved one prepared for loss? Because there will be a loss of income. And so you need to have the hard conversation, because a lot of times we think that, okay, well, there's a loss of income, but, well, I was getting my spouse's Social Security check, or they may have been retirement. We were getting retirement money. We were getting their 401k. There's a lot of different ways that we have income. And so know this, that there will be a loss of income. And so can you continue to carry on and pay for your roof over your head if you were to lose your loved one unexpectedly? Right? So you want to make sure that you look into getting some mortgage protection, are either looking to getting a insurance policy that will cover your mortgage, say if you were to lose your loved one. And so if you feel like you cannot afford insurance, or you may feel like you're not well, and so no insurance company wants to give you insurance, look into prepaying for your services. You know, that's a good thing to look into, because you you know, it's cheaper to do it ahead of time. And so just look into getting that. Listen, I know things are tight. I know it. It's tight for me. And remember, it's just one of me. And so you want to make sure that you go ahead and look into some things where you can secure your loved ones in event that you were to pass away unexpectedly or expectingly. Go ahead and start putting things in place. As I reflect over, my mom turned 90 years old last week, and I'm just so thankful and grateful for her that she is in her right mind, and she is doing well. And you know, she'll tell you, hey, I'm doing everything that I was doing when I was in my 60s. And so although that's today, right, we never know when the vicissitudes of life happens to us, that, you know, we can't just go on what our strength is today, right? Because these bodies are continuing to decay. As long as we live here, they're still, you know, going through the transition of getting ready to leave this side of Earth, and, you know, transitioning. And so, in that being said, that we never know if we were to become incapacitated, right? So if we have our affairs and our things in place and in order, then, you know, it just will make it so much easier on that loved one that has to, you know, experience the loss. So it's very important. I want to talk to you guys about a will and a revocable living trust. And so a will, if you have a will and a will only in all 50 states, you will have to open a probate. And so this is what you want to avoid at all costs, is opening that probate. When you open that probate, then you open your entire life up to the world. Anybody can go in and see if you're in probate, what are you doing? There are professional people that their jobs to go to see if anyone is in probate, and if you owe them money, that's a way that you can, you know, they can receive their money. And so what happens is, if there's a probate and that loved one that had passed away has things in the estate, then they can go after that money. If you're someone that may be paying child support and inherit an estate or inherit money, and they find out that there's a probate open and you have inherit money, then that child support can actually take that money that you inherited, and also it's just very costly. So you want to make sure that you avoid probate at all costs, so that you don't have to deal with Medicare recovery. Medicare is a loan without interest, and they can, by opening up that probate, come back to revoke their money from you, because, you know, Medicare is only going to pay for your care for, I believe, 100 days. And so you want to make sure that you avoid any probate at all. You know, you don't want to deal with that at all. You do not want it open because it will be hard for your loved one that you're leaving behind and your children as well. It will be hard for them as well. And so with the revocable living trust, it works during the lifetime and after the death. I was talking to my mom and she was saying that she knows someone who's, they said that the trust no longer, it dies with the person. Well, the revocable living trust, it works during the lifetime and after the lifetime. It avoids probate. It's private. All of your business is private. It allows you, if you become incapacitated, it allows you to become incapacitated and you still will be within the guidelines to not have to go through the probate. If you decide you want to do it yourself or get a lawyer, these are the things that you should be looking for within your package. You should be looking for the living revocable trust documents, the pour-over will, the durable power of attorney, the healthcare directive, living will, HIPAA release, and also list all assets and accounts, bank accounts, retirement accounts. Make sure that your deed is correctly written, that it says joint tenant with survivalships. Now, it changes from state to state, but California is joint tenant with survivalship. That way, if you were to pass away, then your loved one would automatically, the house would automatically be that person's. And make sure that you have all of your wishes written down. Do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be laid to rest? Where do you want to be laid to rest at? And so you want to make sure that those things are within your package, because if you have a trust and you have not funded that trust, meaning you have not put all of the assets in the trust that you want to be safe, then your trust is incomplete. And so you want to make sure that you have your trust completed. You want to make sure that you transfer your home into the trust, into the name of the trust. Until you can get some of these things done, it's important that you get a worksheet and write down, write down these things, your email address account, your bank accounts, all bank accounts, digital. If you do face recognition or either your thumbprint, finger recognition, you need to make sure that you have a backup, because if you were to pass away and all of your information is in your phone, you want to make it where your loved ones will be able to access your phone to do some of the things. You will be amazed if I've told you how many women, how many widows I have had to navigate through certain things like bank accounts and, financial things that they didn't know what to do because they didn't know their husband's social security numbers. And they had been married for years. You don't know the password to the ATM, accounts and different things like that. And so you want to be right. You want to be legal, and you want to make sure that you take care of these things. Go back and check your bank accounts to make sure that you have beneficiaries on there. Go back and check your, especially those of you that have experienced a divorce or a loss already. Go back and remove those loved ones that you are no longer with, or if they have already passed away, you want to go back and change that, take them off of the home, take them off of the cars, take them off of those things, because it would make it more difficult for you, for your loved ones, if you were to pass away and is nobody but deceased people on those different things is difficult. And so I don't know if you knew, because I didn't know, that you can actually have beneficiaries for your on your cars. If you can go to the DMV and actually have someone designated as your beneficiary. And so I say this all the time. I talk to people all the time, and they always tell me, this is what I want to happen. I want this to go to this person and that to go to that person. And so I've started asking them, do you have that down on paper? Do you have that legally binded? Or is that just your wishes? Because that's what it would be, a wish that was not able to be fulfilled if you do not have it legally binded. So you want to make sure that you go back and change those things, remove some people, people, if you've already lost your spouse, you want to remove them from, the home and the bank and different things like that. That would be what's best. Because I had struggled with closing the account that my husband had, bank account that he had, but it ended up being what was best for me, because my husband had a helicopter bill that was $70,000, medical bills was $100,000, and so that could have went really bad for me. So it was best for me to close that account, although I was continuing to try to keep holding on to that account. You guys, I think I'm having a hot flash. So it's important that you remove them if they have passed away already. And if everything is in your name solely and they have already passed away, then it's important, if you own property, to go ahead and get a trust done so that your children would not be faced with probate. Okay? So, make sure that you have all of those things done. Make sure, if you are a renter and you don't have own property, but you're a renter, it's important that you do your power of attorney, because we never know if we were to become incapacitated and our loved ones cannot do anything. And there's a way that if you have your power of attorney, that at least your loved ones would be able to continue to pay your bills. I always talk about my cousin that got sick for a year, and her sister was her power of attorney and was able to continue to make sure that her bills and different things were paid. And had not she been her power of attorney, she would have lost everything. And so she had everything, and now she's walking in her healing. Incapacitated does not mean that you have to stay there or be there the whole time, but you want to make sure that you get your power of attorney like today. It's easy, it's quick, and also you want to make sure that you pick someone that is maybe your guardianship over your children or your grandchildren, or whoever you pick to be over your things, is someone that you trust. So this past week, even today, I heard that this lady that was picked for a guardian over these children had actually, both parents had died in a car accident. And so the person that they had as their guardian had murdered them and got all the money and ended up in jail. So can you imagine someone that you leaving as your guardian over your children actually murdering your children for the money? So you have to make sure that the person that you pick to be guardians over your children, in the event that both parents have passed away, is someone that is trustworthy. you have to really rely on God and the Holy Spirit to give you that wisdom to know which decisions to make, who to choose. Pray about it. Don't just think that, oh, this is a person that I can trust. Pray about it. It's that sensitive and important that you need to pray about who you would have as your guardians over your children. And so there was another story that I heard about this gentleman that had tried to murder his wife. And he served his time. He wasn't successful with the murder, but he served his time and he got out. However, she never divorced him. And so with her never divorcing him, he was entitled to a portion of the home, and also he was entitled to the insurance policy because she didn't change anything. So if you have experienced a divorce, if you have experienced a loss, you need to make sure that you go back and check those things to make sure that everything is current today. Don't procrastinate about this, you guys. Please go back and check. If you're not for sure, if you started your trust and you have not completed it, please go back and look at it again. If you've already have your trust together, but your loved one has passed away, please go back, revisit it so that you can have things up to date. You may owe, medical bills and different things like that. So you want that person that is deceased, you want to make sure that you take them off so that you won't have all these liens against your house and you won't have to pay their debt out of the estate. And so you want to make sure that you stay on top of this thing. Don't wait until it's too late for you to be able to take action. And if you already experienced your loved one, or you may have inherited a home and different things like that, there's different taxes and different things like that. So Proposition 19, you want to make sure that you fill out the correct paperwork. Within that first year, you have to go ahead and transfer that house into your name because you're going to end up paying that capital gains. And so what capital gains is if you purchase a house for $200,000 and now it's $700,000, that capital gains, it will be very expensive where you would have to pay in order to sell or either to, transfer it. So you want to make sure that you fill out the right proper paperwork so that you will not get, have to pay that capital gains. And so it's very important that you have the hard conversations with your loved ones. If you tell one kid something, tell all of them the same thing, because what happens is death changes people. And that person that you thought you could trust will be not in a good way, right? And so that's why it's good to have a revocable living trust, because guess what? You're in charge of it the whole time you have it. And if your loved ones want to act up and you want to change it, you can change it at any time that you would like to make changes. My kids, I don't know if they know, but I think they know that if they anyone contest the other, then that person will get that $1, and that would be it. And so you want to make sure that you have the conversation so that things will be clear on what's going. So I split my home equally amongst the 3 children, and praying that things will go smoothly. I put this in place so that they would, and so that they would not walk away from what me and their dad had worked so hard for, to leave as a legacy, to leave as an inheritance, because the Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And so he has blessed us and graced us to be able to purchase a home. And so I'm just so thankful and grateful that he honored us enough to trust us to do the right thing now. That I know he allowed this to happen to us where we did not have our things in place and together for this purpose right here, for me to be able to come on to talk to you guys, to inform and to educate you on the importance of it. I was talking to one of my cousins, and I call her cousin wife, and she was saying, hey, we would not known this had not you went through this and you told us. And so there have been dozens of people that have gotten either life insurance or have gotten a trust done. And I'm so thankful and grateful today that I know that I am on the right track on just coming on and talking to you guys and just sharing my testimony with you guys, because he said they were overcame by the word and the blood of their testimony. And so with me coming on, just sharing my testimony with you guys, the importance, you may not know, you may know, but you may not know, or someone you know may not know. You may know someone that have lost someone unexpectedly and not know what to do. Listen, us as a race of colored people always tend to walk away because we simply do not know. We have not educated ourselves. We have not been educated on getting our affairs in place and together. And so as I spoke to a new sister that I met at my church, she has gotten her trust done. And I'm telling you, she did it and she got that thing done. She just has to go and do some legal stuff. But she got it done, and I'm so thankful and grateful, because sometimes I can feel like I'm coming on here and I'm being repetitive. But at the same time, I know that when you come to me and tell me, hey, Crystal, I got it done, or I need to get it done, do you know a lawyer, or can you help me? It encourages me to keep coming on Sunday after Sunday to educate and inform you about the importance of getting it done. Listen, I know what this is like. This is nothing I done read. I'm walking this thing right now. And so it's so important that you have the conversations with your loved ones, have the conversations with your church members. Let them know. I can say this. Don't let it happen to you in order for you to be able to share what you're going through, right? And so be open to getting it done, having the conversation with your loved ones. I know it's hard. I know they don't want to have the conversations. We don't want to have the conversations, but even if you're a renter, it's important that you go ahead if you have any finance at all, because what happens is people get confused. They'll be like, oh, you know what, I have them down as a beneficiary, but guess what, you haven't died. And so since you haven't died, then the beneficiary is not, it's not going to work for you. So that's why it's important that you have your power of attorney, because if you become incapacitated, you can't speak for yourself, you can't do for yourself. You still have to live, right? And so you still have that income coming in. Your bills may still need to be paid, but guess what? They're going to tell you, well, there's nothing that you can do. They're not going to feel sorry for you if you go to the bank and say, hey, my mom, my dad can't talk. He's had a stroke. She's had a stroke, and they can't talk, and I need to get the money to pay the rent. They're not going to honor that. So you want to make sure that you put things down like social security numbers and different things like that. Put the social security numbers down. It's probably going to go off and have to come back on because somebody is calling me. But so, you know, you want to make sure that you make sure that you